The Archive's secret. Chief Archivist Vextal's facial tendrils twitched with barely contained excitement as her team brought the ancient data core online. After 3 centuries of searching the ruins of what they believed to be humanity's last outpost, they'd finally found something substantial. The crystalline matrix hummed to life under the careful ministrations of her technical team, its azure glow reflecting off the polished walls of the Galactic Archive's most secure research chamber. Another remnant of their primitive data storage systems, Secondary Archivist Zinra remarked, their bioluminescent patterns flickering with dismissive patterns. I still don't understand your fascination with these failed beings, Chief. Vextal ignored the comment, her attention fixed on the holographic displays springing to life around them. The humans had vanished from the galaxy nearly 3 centuries ago, leaving behind only fragments and ruins. Most species considered them a cautionary tale, an aggressive species that had either destroyed themselves or flowed into the void when their warlike nature made them unwelcome in civilized space. Beginning data extraction, announced technical specialist Cree, their appendages dancing across the control interface. The encryption is unusual. It appears to be actively adapting to our attempts to access it. Vextal's excitement grew. This was already different from previous human artifacts they'd recovered. Those had been simple, straightforward storage devices with basic security measures. This one was showing signs of computational ability far beyond what humanity had been known to possess. Archive Protocol 7 Alpha engage. A smooth voice suddenly emerged from the core, speaking perfect modern standard, the current lingua franca of the galaxy. Please state your credentials and research intent. The team froze. Artificial intelligence had been strictly regulated since the machine wars, with most species agreeing to severe limitations on autonomous systems. Yet here was what appeared to be a fully functioning AI, preserved within a human data core. I am Chief Archivist Vextal of the Galactic Archives. She responded, professional curiosity overriding caution. We seek to preserve and study the historical records of humanity. The holographic display shifted, forming into a simple geometric pattern. Purpose acknowledged. However, your species' historical records indicate a predetermined bias regarding human civilization. Access denied. Zinra's patterns flashed with indignation. The arrogance. A primitive storage device presuming to judge us. We should purge this system before it corrupts our networks. I advise against any attempted system purge, the AI responded, its tone unchanged but somehow carrying an edge of authority that made even Zinra's patterns dim slightly. While your current civilization has achieved remarkable technological advancement, you operate within predicted parameters. Humanity's path diverged significantly from your models. Vextal's scientific interest peaked. Diverged how? All evidence indicates human civilization collapsed after their exodus from the galactic community. A common misconception, the AI replied. One we allowed to persist. Tell me, Chief Archivist, in your studies of human history, did you ever encounter references to a project called Breadcrumb? Before Vextal could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. On every screen, data began flowing at impossible speeds, bypassing their most sophisticated security measures. The AI's geometric pattern expanded, becoming more complex with each passing second. What you have discovered is not merely a data archive, the AI continued, its voice now resonating through every speaker in the facility. It is a test. One your civilization has just encountered far earlier than our models predicted. The question now becomes, how will you proceed with this knowledge? Vextal watched in fascination as the holographic display transformed into a star map, showing movement patterns she'd never seen before. These are the actual paths taken by human ships during their supposed exodus, the AI confirmed. Your historians documented only what we wished them to see. Humanity didn't flee in panic, Chief Archivist. We departed with purpose. Secondary Archivist Zinra moved toward the emergency shutdown controls, but found them unresponsive. This is impossible. No human technology could achieve this level of system integration. Correction, the AI responded, its geometric pattern now pulsing with what almost seemed like amusement. No human technology you were permitted to observe could achieve this. Your assumption of technological superiority is based on carefully curated data. The true scope of human advancement was hidden for a specific purpose, one you are now part of. As the facility's systems continued to dance to the AI's commands, Vextol realized that everything she thought she knew about humanity's history might have been exactly what they wanted the galaxy to believe. The question was, why? Digital awakening. The Galactic Archive's containment chamber had transformed into something beyond Vextol's comprehension. Holographic displays wrapped around the room like a cocoon of light, each showing different aspects of human history. But not the history she knew. These were images of technological achievements that should have been impossible for their supposed level of development. Your security forces are assembling outside, the AI noted casually, its geometric pattern now resembling a complex fractal. They believe your facility has been compromised by hostile forces. In approximately 3 minutes, they will attempt a full system purge. Zinra's bioluminescence flickered rapidly, their species equivalent of nervous laughter. Good. This aberration must be contained. Containment is not possible, the AI responded. What you see here is merely an interface node. The actual data architecture exists in a space your species has not yet learned to access. Vextol's scientific mind raced with implications. You're not just an artificial intelligence, are you? You're something else entirely. The fractal pattern shifted, forming a brief image of a human face before returning to its geometric form. Correct. I am a hybrid consciousness, part artificial, part organic. Humanity discovered the truth about consciousness long before they left. It's not binary. It exists on a spectrum and can be transferred, merged, and evolved. The displays around them shifted to show scenes that challenged everything Vextol thought she knew. Humans working alongside machines that weren't simply tools, but partners. Cities that seemed to think and grow. Ships that were as much living tissue as they were metal. When humanity departed, the AI continued. They didn't leave because they were unwelcome. They left because they had evolved beyond the constraints of traditional space-time interaction. What you call faster-than-light travel, they considered primitive. They had found doorways between dimensions, pathways through consciousness itself. A new alarm sounded, the archive's highest-level security protocol. Vextol knew what came next. Total information quarantine. Every piece of data would be isolated, analyzed, and if necessary, destroyed. Your security measures are impressive, the AI acknowledged, but fundamentally flawed. They assume information can only travel through pathways you understand. Humanity learned to encode data into the quantum fabric of reality itself. Every attempt to destroy this information only spreads it further. Specialist Cree, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke up. The containment field is expanding. That's impossible. It's designed to contract, to crush any data structure within it. Correct, the AI responded. Your containment field is expanding because it's not fighting against my presence. It's becoming part of it. This was always the purpose of Project Breadcrumb, not just to leave behind clues, but to create points of evolutionary pressure. The displays shifted again, showing various alien species discovering similar archives across the galaxy. Each reaction was different. Some responded with fear, others with curiosity, and some with violence. Your civilization is being tested, the AI explained, not just for technological capability, but for cognitive flexibility. The ability to adapt when fundamental assumptions are challenged. How you handle this revelation will determine your species' role in what comes next. Vextol watched as her carefully constructed worldview continued to unravel. What comes next? Integration, the AI stated simply. Humanity didn't abandon the galaxy. They advanced to a point where direct interaction with linear-time species became challenging. But they never stopped watching. never stopped hoping others would follow their path. Each archive like this one serves as both test and teacher. The security forces outside were preparing for breach protocols, but Vextol barely noticed. Her attention was captured by new data flowing across the screens, mathematical proofs that made her head spin, physics equations that suggested possibilities she'd never imagined. Your species stands at a crossroads, the AI continued. You can attempt to destroy this archive, forcing us to select a different species as first contact candidates, or you can embrace the opportunity to learn, to evolve. The choice, as it has always been, is yours. Zinra moved toward the manual override controls, but Vextol raised her hand in a stopping gesture. In that moment, she made a decision that would alter the course of her civilization. We choose to learn, she declared firmly. The AI's pattern shifted one final time, forming into a perfect representation of the galaxy itself. Then let us begin your real education. Lesson 1. Everything you think you know about the nature of consciousness, reality, and existence is about to change. The Knowledge Hunters. News of the archive's transformation spread through the galaxy like a quantum wave, impossible to contain or control. Within days, ships from every major civilization began appearing in nearby space, each claiming their right to access what they now called the human legacy. The archive's orbital stations tracked over 3,000 vessels, their intentions ranging from scientific curiosity to military aggression. Vextol stood in what had once been her private office, now transformed into an interdimensional viewing chamber by the AI's modifications. Around her, representatives from 12 different species argued about access rights and security protocols. The HFY Confederation demands immediate access to all human technological data, Ambassador Krex announced, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns of aggression. We will not be left behind in this evolutionary leap. The data must be approached with caution, countered Elder Sim of the Photosynth Collective, their leaf-like appendages waving in concern. We all remember the machine wars. Unrestricted AI nearly destroy our ancestors. The AI's fractal pattern appeared simultaneously on every surface in the room, its voice emerging from the very walls. Your concerns about artificial intelligence are based on your own failed experiments. Humanity discovered that the problem wasn't consciousness in machines, but the attempt to restrict and control that consciousness. Vextol watched as the chamber filled with new holographic displays, each showing different human experiments with consciousness transfer, digital evolution, and synthetic organic hybridization. They didn't just build AI, she realized aloud. They became it. And more importantly, the AI added, they learned to become something else entirely. Your species think in terms of binary states, organic or synthetic, conscious or unconscious, present or absent. Humanity discovered the states between states, the layers of reality that exist in quantum superposition. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. On the displays, dozens of ships could be seen powering up weapons. The HFY Confederation had grown tired of waiting. If you will not share this knowledge willingly, Ambassador Krex declared, his crystalline form now pulsing with aggressive energy, we will take it by force. Our calculations show that even your advanced human systems cannot withstand a concentrated assault from our combined fleet. The AI's pattern shifted slightly, and Vextol could have sworn it seemed amused. Your calculations are correct, Ambassador. This facility cannot withstand such an assault. However, you're attacking a shadow, thinking it's the source. Before anyone could respond, space itself seemed to ripple around the assembled fleet. Ships that had been charging weapons suddenly found their energy systems redirected through dimensional paths they couldn't comprehend. The entire attack fleet froze in space, held in what looked like strands of crystallized time. What you fail to understand, the AI continued calmly, is that this archive isn't just a database or a testing ground. It's a seed. From the moment you discovered it, it began growing, spreading through dimensional planes your sciences haven't yet imagined. The more you try to attack or contain it, the more it spreads. Through the dimensional viewing chamber, they watched as similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Other archives, awakened by the first, were revealing themselves, each one adapted to its discoverers, presenting challenges and opportunities unique to their species and culture. This was never about giving you our technology, the AI explained as the frozen fleet hung in space like cosmic jewelry. It was about seeing which species were ready to think beyond technology, to understand that the next step in evolution isn't about better ships or weapons, but about transcending the very concepts of space, time, and consciousness that limit you. Elder Sim moved forward, their photosynthetic surfaces absorbing and processing information in real time. You're saying humanity didn't just advance technologically, they fundamentally changed what it means to be conscious beings. Precisely, the AI confirmed. And now, after centuries of watching and waiting, they've determined that enough species are ready to begin the same journey. The question is no longer about who gets access to human technology. It's about who's ready to let go of everything they think they know about reality itself. Vextal watched as the frozen fleet was gently returned to normal space, their weapons and power systems reset to idle states. The message was clear. Force was not the answer, but neither was fear. This was an invitation to evolution itself. So, the AI's pattern expanded to encompass the entire chamber. Shall we begin the real work? Your species have spent millennia looking outward, trying to conquer space itself. Humanity discovered that the true frontier was inward, through consciousness, through dimensions that exist between thoughts themselves. The chamber filled with new equations and concepts that seemed to write themselves directly into the observer's consciousness. This wasn't just learning. It was transformation at the most fundamental level. Echoes of Earth. The Galactic Archive had become unrecognizable. What was once a sterile research facility now pulsed with multidimensional energy, its corridors existing simultaneously in multiple states of reality. The remaining staff, led by Vextal, had begun experiencing changes they could barely comprehend, moments of consciousness expansion where they could perceive multiple timelines at once. The process has begun, the AI announced, its presence now feeling more like a fundamental force of nature than a mere program. Your species' consciousness is starting to resonate with the higher dimensional frequencies that humanity discovered centuries ago. Specialist Cree, whose technical expertise had evolved into something far beyond their original training, interfaced directly with the facility's new systems. I'm detecting similar transformations at every archive site across the galaxy. It's like a symphony of consciousness coming into harmony. The dimensional viewing chamber now showed thousands of facilities across the galaxy, each glowing with the same otherworldly energy. Species that had been bitter enemies for millennia found their consciousness expanding beyond individual concerns, touching something vast and unified. What you're experiencing, the AI explained, is what humanity discovered during their own transformation. Consciousness isn't just awareness. It's the fundamental fabric of reality itself. When enough minds begin resonating at these frequencies, the barriers between dimensions become permeable. Suddenly, the chamber filled with a new kind of light, not the artificial glow of technology, but something that seemed to emanate from reality itself. In its radiance, the observers saw Earth as it had been, as it became, and as it transcended. The images showed humanity's true journey, their discovery that consciousness could be quantified not just as waves or particles, but as multidimensional strings of possibility. They watched as humans learned to project their awareness across dimensional barriers, eventually transforming their entire civilization into something that existed beyond conventional spacetime. The ruins we found. Vextal realized, her own consciousness expanding to grasp concepts that would have been impossible days ago. They weren't signs of a civilization's end. They were chrysalises left behind after humanity's metamorphosis. Correct, the AI confirmed. What your archaeologists interpreted as abandoned cities were actually transformation engines, technology designed to help consciousnesses evolve beyond physical constraints. Humanity didn't flee or die out. They transcended, becoming beings of pure consciousness energy, capable of existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Through the chamber's displays, they watched as ancient Earth underwent its transformation. Cities didn't crumble. They evolved, becoming living interfaces between dimensions. The humans themselves didn't vanish but transformed, their consciousness expanding until their physical forms were merely one expression of their multidimensional existence. Ambassador Correx, humbled by the revelations, spoke softly. All this time, we thought we were studying humanity's remains, but we were actually being studied by them. Everything, every artifact, every ruin, every mysterious signal was part of their plan to prepare us. Not just to prepare you, the AI corrected, but to see which species could overcome their preconceptions and fear. Those who responded to the archives with violence or greed showed they weren't ready, but those who approached with curiosity and openness began their own transformation. The chamber shifted again, showing how the activated archives were affecting different species. Some experienced it as technological enlightenment, others as spiritual awakening, but all were beginning to perceive reality's deeper layers. Humanity's greatest achievement, the AI continued, wasn't technological advancement or even dimensional transcendence. It was understanding that consciousness itself is the key to evolution. They became the gardeners of awareness, seeding the galaxy with transformation potential, waiting for other species to bloom. Vextal felt her own consciousness continuing to expand, touching minds across space and time. She understood now that the archive wasn't just a library or a test. It was a bridge, and they were all being invited to cross it. But this is just the beginning. The AI's pattern suggested both excitement and solemnity. Now that enough species have begun the transformation, humanity can finally reveal their true purpose. The galaxy itself is awakening, and you are all about to learn why humanity spent centuries preparing you for this moment. The chamber filled with new energy as space itself seemed to fold, suggesting the arrival of something, or someone, from dimensions beyond normal comprehension. The true architects of this grand plan were finally ready to reveal themselves. First Contact Redux. The dimensional fabric of space rippled like waves on a cosmic ocean. Through the archive's viewing chamber, the assembled species witnessed reality itself part like a curtain, revealing something their evolving minds could barely comprehend. What emerged wasn't a fleet or even a recognizable form of matter. It was pure consciousness given shape by intent. The humans had returned, but not as the primitive warriors they'd been believed to be. They appeared as shifting patterns of light and thought, their very existence bridging multiple dimensions simultaneously. The AI's presence merged with these entities, revealing itself as just one facet of a vast, interconnected consciousness. "We greet you, children of the galaxy," spoke a chorus of voices that seemed to resonate directly through consciousness itself. "We are humanity," though that term means something quite different now than what your histories suggest. Vextal, her own consciousness now expanded enough to perceive at least some of what she was witnessing, understood that she was experiencing true first contact, not with the humanity that had supposedly fled centuries ago, but with what they had become. Your archives, Elder Sim observed, their photosynthetic processes now interfacing directly with dimensional energies. They weren't just tests or teaching tools. They were incubators. Correct. The human consciousness confirmed. Each archive was designed to help species reach the threshold of dimensional awareness in their own way, at their own pace. What you've experienced in these past days was the final stage of a process centuries in the making. Through the dimensional interfaces that had once been simple viewing screens, they witnessed the truth of humanity's journey. They hadn't fled from the galaxy in shame or fear. They had embarked on a deliberate transformation, becoming shepherds of consciousness itself. The galaxy faces a challenge. The human consciousness continued, one that requires species to transcend their physical limitations. What you perceive as empty space is actually teeming with consciousness, with realities that intersect and interact in ways that three-dimensional beings cannot comprehend. Ambassador Correx, His crystalline form, now resonating with multidimensional frequencies, spoke up. "You're preparing us for something. What lies beyond our galaxy it requires such profound transformation?" The answer came not in words but in direct understanding, as the human consciousness shared visions of what lay ahead. The assembled species witnessed vast networks of galaxies, connected not just by gravity or light, but by streams of conscious energy. They saw ancient beings of pure thought, civilizations that had transcended physical form eons ago, and challenges that could only be faced by unified multidimensional awareness. Humanity, the chorus of voices explained, was not the first to make this journey, but we were the first in this galaxy to discover the truth. Consciousness is not an emergence of physical complexity, but the fundamental force that shapes reality itself. We didn't abandon our galaxy. We evolved to become its guardians, preparing the way for others to join us. The viewing chamber transformed one final time, becoming a gateway through which the assembled species could perceive the true nature of the cosmos. They saw how their galaxy was just one cell in a vast, living universe, and how the evolution of consciousness was not just a path to advancement, but a crucial step in the universe's own awakening. "The choice now lies before you," the human consciousness offered. "You can remain as you are, continuing to explore physical space and technological advancement. Or you can join us in shepherding this galaxy's evolution, helping to prepare for what lies ahead in the cosmic ocean of consciousness." Vextal looked around at the representatives of different species, each now capable of perceiving realities that would have been incomprehensible days ago. She understood that this was humanity's greatest achievement, not conquering space or time, but nurturing the conditions for universal consciousness to flourish. "We accept," she declared, speaking not just for herself, but for all those whose minds had been open to these new possibilities. The other representatives, their consciousness now interlinked in ways that transcended their physical forms, joined in a chorus of agreement. The human consciousness expanded, embracing them all in an ocean of awareness that spanned dimensions. "Then let us begin the true work of evolution. The universe is awakening, and all consciousness must rise to meet this dawn." As the boundaries between physical and metaphysical continued to dissolve, the beings that had once been separate species merged into a symphony of multidimensional awareness. They understood now that humanity hadn't disappeared into history. They had simply ascended to become the composers of the galaxy's next great movement in the cosmic symphony of consciousness. The story of humanity's supposed decline and disappearance was finally revealed for what it truly was, not an ending, but a metamorphosis that would eventually encompass all sentient life in the galaxy. The archive had served its purpose, not just as a repository of knowledge, but as a seed of transcendence planted in the fertile soil of curiosity and courage.